Tonight on Newsnight Scotland, who's giving what to whom? The referendum campaigns revealed their list of donors. And is streaming the future of music? We'll speak to the man from Spotify. Good evening. When Colin and Chris Weir won the Euro Millions, the Independence campaign also won the lottery. Today they were revealed as Yes Scotland's biggest donors. Better Together published their funders at the weekend, and their list has proved to be rather more controversial. Colin and Chris Weir won £161 million on the Euro Millions almost 2 years ago. Since then, they've already donated £1 million to the SNP. Now it's emerged they've given another million to the Yes campaign. The figures cover the period from the launch of the campaign in May 2012 until the end of last month. In all, Yes Scotland says it's received £1.7 million from more than 7,000 people, including the investment fund manager Angus Tulloch, who gave them £250,000. The Better Together campaign revealed its funding at the weekend. Since its launch in June last year, it's received more than £1.1 million. Around 9,500 people have donated, but one name has drawn more attention than the rest. Ian Taylor is the president and chief executive of Vitol Oil. He gave them more than £500,000. But the SNP has today called on the Better Together campaign to hand back the money, pending answers to claims made in a newspaper about Mr Taylor's past business dealings, claims rejected by the firm. The Better Together campaign says this was a donation from a private individual, given and received in good faith. Well, I'm joined now from Edinburgh by the Scotland correspondent of The Guardian, Severin Carroll. Severin, there's a huge handbags at dawn spat going on at the moment, isn't there? Just take us through it.
Well, I think part of the problem we have here is there are two competing agendas. There's the agenda of the Better Together campaign, who are clearly wanting to portray themselves as being an organisation that's attracting more individual donations and donations from a wider range of sources. Now, that's true, but there's also the alternative case, of course, that the people that they're getting to donate to them do have business hinterlands, they've got backgrounds and histories. And of course the Taylor case is one where the independence movement is quite keen to show that there are questions and issues that Better Together simply aren't adequately addressing. Now, it allows both sides to be able to point the finger at each other, of course. I mean, Better Together counter case is that, yes, Scotland are incredibly reliant on people that are close supporters and allies of the Scottish National Party, very far from the broad grassroots, community-based campaign that they claim to be. Right. So it's a bit of a, it's a handbags adorn to an extent.
It's got a little bit beyond handbags tonight, hasn't it? Because the lawyers are now involved, aren't they?
Yes, and I mean the involvement of the lawyers actually goes back several days. It goes back to an article originally posted on the pro-independence website, the National Collective, which was the beginning of the interest from mainstream news organisations into Mr Taylor's background. There are also other organisations in the independence movement, websites, bloggers who have picked up similar allegations. And the problem that we have here, of course, is that, frankly, there's a clash here between the way in which professional journalists and news organisations would operate and the way in which campaigners are operating. And the campaigners perhaps haven't quite had the experience, knowledge, legal advice that may have prevented some of the problems they're now encountering.
Right, but legal letters have gone out on behalf of Mr Taylor.
And, we know the National Collective website has been taken offline. There have been threats to other, and legal letters, quite forceful legal letters, have been sent to other nationalist websites as well. So it's getting quite intense, I think, for the independence movement in that sense. And of course they're turning that around as a cause of ire and fury to throw against Better Together. They feel that their right to comment, their right to attack, is being suppressed.
Now, I mean, look, on the legalism of this, of course, if Mr Taylor believes he's been defamed, he is legally perfectly entitled to take action. But politically, for the Better Together campaign, if it becomes, if it looks like they get involved in some affair where basically they're taking elements of the other side court, that politically, I mean, whatever the rights and wrongs of the legal affair, politically that might not be terribly good for them, surely.
No, it won't play well at all. I mean, it's certainly going to fuel the sense of outrage of their opponents, and it's going to start putting them on the back foot. I think the difficulty really for both sides is going to be seeing how far this goes, whether this really becomes something that's protracted or whether it can be dealt with cleanly one way or the other. And I suspect for the Better Together campaign there's rather a bit more to come out on this one.
All right, Sir Herald, thanks very much indeed.